Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying the warm weather. On June 12th, the province has announced a phase two reopening, which has had major implication and major opportunities for our city services. I know that two of them, if you're a parent, have implications on you: summer camps and childcare services. So we're meeting with the city just to understand where they were at, where their thoughts were at, and where they're at today, and what they expect over the summer. I know that summer camps in our community, there's limits, but there are spaces that remain at the Overbrook Community Center for both English and French camps. As you can see on the screen, those are some of the facilities where camps are still available for the summer. So we're meeting with the city's Parks and Rec lead at Richelieu, and we're also meeting with the director of childcare services at the City of Ottawa. So as promised, we're meeting with the city just to get a sense. It's been a challenging time for all of us. A lot of parents were hoping that school was going to restart. Obviously, that's not the case. But the city, although it's not the traditional camp, has been able to do COVID-sensitive camps. We're meeting with Ken Guérin, who's the rec supervisor at Richelieu Community Center, to give us a bit of an outlook as to what's happening, what to expect, and how the city's adapted over this period. Ken, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for taking the time to do this with us. What has the team done to be ready to be in place for what will be a start of camps in early July?
That's right. So we've been closed since March, but ever since we've been told to reopen and start getting the ball rolling for summer camps, we have had all hands on deck and working days and nights to get this started. What's been done, basically, we had to come up with new guidelines, new procedures in place for camps. It's not going to be your typical camp this year. It's going to be different from previous years, but with the same aspect in mind where we want it to be safe and fun for everyone involved. So we have been working on guidelines for new safety measures and also programming for how can we make this fun and enjoyable for the kid that's going to come in our camp in this new environment. Yeah, we follow a lot of our guidelines are based on what we get from the federal and the provincial government as well. So the provincial government did come out with what we have to follow for our camps, and that is the basis of our guidelines. So along with that information that we received, we work closely with Ottawa Public Health to develop our new guidelines and what our new, like you said, the new normal is going to be for our camps. What do we have to put in place? So we have reached out to also different municipalities to see what they're doing, so that we're all in the same boat here and all ensuring that we're offering a safe and fun program for our clients this year.
You're specifically at Richelieu. Obviously, in my community, we will have camps at Richelieu, Sandy Hill, and just outside, but close enough, at Saint Laurent and Overbrook. Maybe give us a sense. Registration could happen on the 15th. What sort of registration did we see? I imagine it would have been busy?
It was very busy. Actually, I had my laptop open that night to see how registration was going, and people were registering quickly. As you know, because of the new guidelines now in place, we have a limit of how many kids we can accept because we have to be physically distanced in every activity, including camps. So we have fewer spots available, but people wanted the spots. Obviously, there's a need in the market. People need childcare, they need camps, and we're happy that we're able to help and assist that. So for Richelieu Venue, which will actually be a location for inclusive recreation, they have camps, but also for Saint Laurent, Sandy Hill, and at Overbrook, they have camps in French and in English, and all of them have seen a large amount of registration as soon as we open up to this date. Honestly, they can contact us. They can contact 311. They can give us a call. Even at the facilities right now that are offering the camps, staff are starting to go back to these facilities to get them ready for camps. So you can contact facilities and see where they have availability. We are more than happy to find other spots in the city for you. You might have to go a little bit further away, or maybe spots will open up. Some of them have wait lists, people withdraw, register again. It happens often, so don't get discouraged when you see that it's full. There might be spaces available. We always try to work to find new spots, try to accommodate the most people as possible. But this time around, we do have to really take safety and social distancing as a main factor here when making those decisions. Okay, so the camp that you're registering for, they're all the same theme, let's say. It's called Camp Summer Fun or Plaisir d'été. So at this point, as you can tell, there's going to be different measures in place. So completely different. You're going to get a call before camps even start. You're going to get an email with all the new measures in place so that you're informed. You can inform your child as well prior to going to the camp so that you know what to expect and they know what to expect. New screening measures to ensure that kids are safe and healthy before they go into camp. This is to help everyone else involved. So there's a lot of stuff before the camp even starts that's going to happen. We'll reach out to you for that information. But once camps actually start, what you can see is that once you enter a facility, you're going to have your own area for your camp. So if your camp has 8 kids, and that's the maximum, 8 kids and 2 staff, because we're following the limit of 10 people per group. When you go there, you're going to have your own room for that camp. Your child's going to be in that camp with 8 other kids or 7 other kids and 2 staff. They will not mix with other camps in the building. And if that building offers other programming at some point, they won't even see them. They will have their own separate entrance for that. They'll be completely separated.
So for our second segment, the first one, we were speaking about summer camps. I know that's really important for many families in our communities. Childcare is and has been for many years, and obviously will continue to be. We're meeting with the Director of Children's Services at the City of Ottawa, Jason Sebourin. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Councillor.
So we have frontline workers. We've been able to offer limited childcare under very very specific conditions. How has that been for you and the team?
It's been, it was a challenge getting everyone up and running and sticking to, like you mentioned, the local and the provincial guidelines, but it has been really rewarding as well. I mean, a lot of feedback from our families and parents and staff that, as much as these enhanced safety measures are needed, the children are still having fun, they're still growing, they're still learning. And the reward with staff is knowing that they are supporting those essential workers in Ottawa, the doctors, the nurses, and whatnot. So yes, we had limited numbers, but we were able to support over 100 families as part of this emergency care program. While we all kind of were a little shocked and surprised by the provincial announcement of June 12th, I think we have to realize that service providers are working diligently on reviewing and implementing those provincial guidelines. And it is anticipated that reopening will take time. Service providers will have different reopening dates. As you mentioned, I think we probably both know firsthand how difficult this situation is for families. We are just asking for some patience while service providers adapt to these new health and safety measures to ensure that when reopening, those children can return to a safer environment. We're quickly working with our system planning advisory group to try to identify local issues and challenges. A lot of this work right now is around the financial supports available to providers. It is great that the province has put in these financial supports to help with the closure period and the reopening period. I think it's one of those situations right now we're all just trying to react. So I think everyone's focus right now is reopening. Long term, I think we are going to continue to need those financial supports for providers because none of us know exactly where the capacity is going to go, and to ensure these businesses are viable, we definitely need some more supports financially. And I think we all know how vitally important childcare is to the local economic recovery. So from both that perspective and families, we do have a strong sector in Ottawa. And through that advisory group that we do have, those partnerships that we have in Ottawa are really key for us to succeeding through this environment. Between the federal and the provincial supports, mostly the federal supports around the salary cost, but in addition, the province did release their funding guidelines last week. We're still trying to work through designing and implementing that, but more or less all licensed providers in Ottawa will be supported through these supports up until August 31st. There's some different aspects in the closure period and the reopening period, but they are going to be well supported up until August 31st. I think that's where some of our unclarity is right now with the province is what's next. And I don't think any of us know necessarily what September is going to bring, but I do know that those supports are going to be needed into the future, suspecting that capacity is not necessarily going to return to normal for September. So the new cohorting rules with the province, while there's differences in every room and every location, really they're looking at a 10 cohort. So that really drastically reduces the revenue from either the full fee parents or the fee subsidy that we pay on behalf of the clients. But the province supports are there to fund the vacant capacity, the additional staff that's needed, the additional protective equipment that's needed. So they have really provided those supports up until August 31st for right now. Yeah, absolutely. I think I think many people might be thinking, well, it would be nice to return to normal, but I do think as many businesses are realizing, we do have to adapt to this situation, and there are opportunities for us as well. And our service system plan does present that. We might have to adapt it a little bit with the current environment, but I mean, those 10 priorities were so focused to better support families, and we have that opportunity now to make some of these changes and adapt the childcare system. As I mentioned, those federal and provincial supports are going to be needed to ensure that we can do that and support the economic recovery and families.